By the end of this video, you will have a complete step-by-step blueprint to achieve financial independence in 10 years or less, and you will know exactly which numbers matter, which strategies actually work, and which mistakes will derail you before you even start. This is not theory. This is the exact framework that has allowed thousands of ordinary people with ordinary incomes to walk away from mandatory work before age 50. And here is a fact that might shock you. According to a recent Federal Reserve study, 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, yet the average household spends over $18,000 per year on things they cannot even remember buying 3 months later. That gap, that invisible leak, is the difference between working until you are 67 and having complete freedom by your mid-40s. But before we get to the strategy, most financial advisors will never tell their clients, one that can legitimately shave 2 to 3 years off your financial independence timeline. Let me walk you through the 7 pillars that make this entire system work. Here is what you are going to learn today. First, the exact savings rate you need based on your target timeline. Second, the investment allocation that maximizes growth while letting you actually sleep at night. Third, the income acceleration tactics that most people ignore because they seem too simple. And hidden near the end, I am going to reveal the single psychological shift that separates people who talk about financial independence from people who actually achieve it. Quick, if you have ever felt like you are working hard but somehow not getting ahead, hit the like button right now. It tells the algorithm this content is valuable and helps us reach more people who need to hear this. Let me paint a picture for you. You wake up on a random Tuesday. No alarm. You check your phone, not for work emails, but because you want to. You spend the morning however you choose, maybe with your kids, maybe on a passion project, maybe just reading in silence. This is not retirement in the traditional sense. You are not old. You are not sitting around waiting to expire. You are in your prime, fully funded, completely free. Now contrast that with what most people experience. The Sunday night dread. The 40-year grind toward a finish line that keeps moving. The quiet desperation of trading your healthiest years for a paycheck that barely covers the bills. A Gallup study found that 67% of workers are disengaged at their jobs. 67%. That means 2 out of every 3 people you pass on your morning commute are quietly miserable, counting down to a retirement they may not live long enough to enjoy. And the cruelest part? Most of them believe they have no other option. They think financial independence is for tech millionaires or trust fund kids. They are wrong. But here is what nobody tells you. The math behind financial independence is shockingly simple. It is not about earning 6 figures. It is not about picking winning stocks. It is about one number that determines everything: your savings rate. And once you understand this, the entire game changes. Let me introduce you to the most important concept in your entire financial life. It is called the crossover point. Imagine 2 lines on a graph. One line represents your monthly expenses. The other line represents the passive income generated by your investments. The moment that second line crosses above the first, you are financially independent. Work becomes optional. Now, how fast you reach that crossover point depends almost entirely on what percentage of your income you save and invest. Here is the math that will change your perspective forever. If you save 10% of your income, you are looking at roughly 51 years to financial independence. Save 20%, and it drops to 37 years. But save 50%, and you are free in 17 years. Push it to 60%, and you are looking at 12 and a half years. Notice something? The relationship is not linear. Every 10% increase in your savings rate does not shave off the same amount of time. The gains accelerate as you save more. Someone earning $60,000 who saves 30% will reach financial independence faster than someone earning $120,000 who saves 10%. Income matters far less than the gap between what you earn and what you spend. Here is where most people get this wrong. They focus obsessively on income while completely ignoring their savings rate. They get a raise and immediately inflate their lifestyle. They chase promotions without ever capturing the additional money. The actionable fix is this: calculate your savings rate this week and commit to increasing it by just 5% over the next 3 months. That single change, applied consistently, can accelerate your timeline by years. Stop. Before I continue, this next part is critical. We need to talk about where your money actually goes once you save it, because saving alone will not get you to financial independence. Inflation will eat your cash alive. If you simply stockpile money in a savings account earning 2% while inflation runs at 3%, you are actually getting poorer every single year. You need your money to grow, and that means investing. But investing for financial independence looks different than what most people do. Most people diversify into oblivion. They own 17 different funds, 3 individual stocks, some cryptocurrency, maybe a rental property they barely understand. They are busy, but they are not strategic. The FI community has largely settled on a simple, almost boring approach that works remarkably well: low-cost index funds. Specifically, a total stock market index fund gives you instant ownership of thousands of companies for an expense ratio of around 0.03%. Compare that to the average actively managed fund charging 1%. Over a 30-year period, that difference in fees alone can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here is a concrete example. If you invest $500 monthly into a fund with a 1% fee versus a 0.03% fee, assuming 7% average returns, after 30 years, the high-fee fund leaves you with roughly $520,000. The low-fee fund leaves you with over $580,000. That is $60,000 lost to fees, money that could have funded 2 more years of freedom. The mistake 80% of investors make is chasing complexity. They believe sophisticated means better. The actionable fix is simple. Open an account with Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab this week. Set up automatic monthly investments into a total market index fund. Then ignore it. This next section changed everything for me, and it will change everything for you, too. We have talked about saving and investing, but there is a third lever that most financial independence content ignores because it is uncomfortable to discuss: earning more. Here is the truth. You can only cut expenses so far. At some point, you hit a floor. You still need housing, food, transportation, and basic human dignity. But your income? That has no ceiling. The average American changes jobs 11 times during their career, but here is the statistic that matters. People who strategically change jobs every 2 to 3 years earn up to 50% more over their lifetime than people who stay loyal to one employer. 50%. Why? Because internal raises typically cap at 3 to 5% annually, while job changes often come with 15 to 25% salary bumps. The math is not even close. Beyond job hopping, there is skill stacking. This means combining 2 or 3 skills that are not rare individually, but become valuable together. An accountant who can also code is worth more than an accountant. A nurse who can also write compelling content can build a health education business. A project manager who speaks Spanish fluently opens doors to international consulting. The mistake people make here is waiting for permission. They think they need another degree, another certification, another year of experience. The actionable fix is this: identify one adjacent skill that could increase your market value by 20% and dedicate just 30 minutes daily to developing it. In 6 months, you will be a different professional entirely. If you have made it this far, you are already ahead of 95% of people, and what I am about to share in this next section is the most valuable part of this entire video. Do not skip it. Subscribe to Our Wealth Decode Plus if you have not already. We drop a brand new money strategy every single day at 6 p.m. Hit that notification bell so you never miss one. I need to pause here because this is where most people go wrong. They hear about financial independence, get excited, try to change everything at once, and burn out within 3 months. Sustainable progress beats dramatic bursts every single time. This is where systems thinking changes the game. You need to build what I call a FI operating system, a set of automatic behaviors that move you toward independence without requiring willpower every single day. Willpower is a limited resource. It depletes. Systems work even when motivation disappears. Here is what this looks like practically. First, automate your savings so money moves to your investment accounts before you ever see it. Second, automate your bills so you never pay late fees or damage your credit. Third, create what I call a spending buffer, keeping 1 month of expenses in your checking account so you are never making financial decisions from a place of scarcity. A concrete example. When I restructured my own finances, I set up automatic transfers on the first of every month, $500 to investments, $200 to an emergency fund, $150 to a travel fund. These transfers happen whether I am motivated, tired, or completely distracted by life. Over the past 5 years, this system has moved over $50,000 into wealth-building accounts without me making a single active decision. The mistake people make is relying on end-of-month leftovers. They plan to invest whatever is remaining after expenses. But there is never anything remaining because expenses expand to fill available income. The fix is reversing the flow. Pay yourself first, then live on what remains. But here's what nobody tells you about the actual financial independence journey. The math eventually becomes the easy part. The hard part is psychological. Most people who fail at this do not fail because they cannot do arithmetic. They fail because they cannot handle the social pressure, the identity questions, the deep discomfort of living differently than everyone around them. When your coworkers lease new cars every 3 years and you are driving a 12-year-old Honda, you will feel the pull to conform. When your friends take lavish vacations funded by credit cards and you are camping in state parks, you will question yourself. When your family asks why you are not buying a bigger house when you could clearly afford it, you will need a strong internal compass. The FI path is fundamentally countercultural. You are choosing to prioritize your future freedom over your present image. This requires what psychologists call a strong internal locus of control, the belief that your outcomes depend on your own actions rather than external circumstances. Here is a framework that helps. Instead of thinking about what you are giving up, focus on what you are buying. Every $1,000 invested is not $1,000 of consumption sacrificed. It is approximately $40 of annual passive income forever. That is not deprivation. That is purchasing freedom in small, consistent installments. Every dollar has 2 potential jobs. It can buy you something today, or it can buy you time tomorrow. Most people skip this step, so do not be one of them. We need to talk about your financial independence number, the specific amount you need invested to generate enough passive income to cover your expenses forever. The most common calculation uses the 4% rule, derived from the Trinity study. It states that if you withdraw 4% of your portfolio annually, adjusted for inflation, your money has historically survived for at least 30 years in most market conditions. The math works like this. Multiply your annual expenses by 25. If you spend $40,000 yearly, your FI number is $1 million. If you spend $60,000, you need $1.5 million. If you can reduce your expenses to $30,000, you only need $750,000. Notice how lowering expenses creates a double benefit. It simultaneously increases your savings rate and decreases your FI number. Cutting $500 monthly from your budget means you save $6,000 more per year and need $150,000 less to reach independence. That single change could shave 3 to 4 years off your timeline. Here is a concrete example. Sarah and Tom both earn $80,000 annually. Sarah spends $65,000 and invests $15,000 per year. Her FI number is $1.625 million. At a 7% return, she reaches independence in about 32 years. Tom spends $40,000 and invests $40,000 per year. His FI number is $1 million. Same 7% return, he reaches independence in 14 years. Same income, 18-year difference. This is why the savings rate equation matters more than almost any other variable in your financial life. Now let us talk about what to do today, this week, and this month to put this blueprint into action. Today, you need exactly 10 minutes and a calculator. Add up your total monthly income after taxes, then add up every dollar you spent last month. Everything, including subscriptions, coffee, random Amazon purchases. Divide your savings by your income and multiply by 100. That is your current savings rate. Write it down. That number is your starting point. This week you have 3 tasks. First, open an investment account if you do not have one. Fidelity, Vanguard, and Schwab all offer free accounts with no minimums. Second, cancel one subscription you do not actively use. The average American has 12 recurring subscriptions and forgets about 3 of them. Third, calculate your FI number using the formula I gave you, annual expenses times 25. This month, build your system. Set up automatic transfers to your investment account. Use free tools like Mint or YNAB to track spending automatically. Schedule a monthly 15-minute money review, same time each month, to check your progress and make adjustments. Now let me answer the question I planted at the beginning of this video. The strategy most financial advisors will never tell their clients. It is this: financial independence is not actually about money. It is about purchasing something money cannot directly buy, but can absolutely fund. And that something is optionality, the ability to say no to things that drain you, the power to say yes to things that fulfill you, the freedom to structure your days around what matters instead of what pays. Every financial decision you make is either buying you more optionality or selling it away. The expensive car sells optionality. The automated investment buys it. The lifestyle inflation sells it. The skill development buys it. When you frame every money choice through this lens, the right path becomes obvious. You are not just accumulating wealth, you are accumulating freedom, one decision at a time. Here are your 3 key takeaways. First, your savings rate determines your timeline more than your income ever will, so track it obsessively and increase it relentlessly. Second, simple beats complex when it comes to investing, so use low-cost index funds and automate everything. Third, treat every dollar as a choice between buying something today or buying freedom tomorrow, and choose freedom more often than not. Comment below, which of these 7 strategies are you going to implement first? I read every single comment, and I will personally reply to as many as I can. In tomorrow's video, I am revealing the 3 income streams that fund financial independence fastest, something that took me years to figure out and most people never learn. Subscribe right now so you do not miss it.